Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. I am John Lewis with Age to Age Ministries, also Rising Mystics Institute. This is going to be a little bit different video here that I am putting out today. And this is basically because I had an experience on Monday, October 31st, 2022, early morning when I was in meditation before the kids got up to get ready for school and all of that. And while I was in meditation and by the way, meditation is a good thing. We know that in much of Western Christianity, it is misunderstood, and people kind of, even tell others, don't do it. I say, do it. Your Bible even tells you to do it. It says, meditate on the word day and night. Prayer is, God, when you are speaking to God. And when you speak, God listens. That is prayer. And but when you listen, God speaks. That's meditation. Be still and know that I'm God. And you know what? After that, when you believe, God acts. So God listens, God speaks, and God acts. So while I was there in that space of meditation on Monday morning, I had some things that come into my spirit that Spirit told me to do, and we don't know how long these sessions are going to go. But one of the things he said to me was to start to share prophetically what I saw, on YouTube. We do this in our Rising Mystic class many times. Matter of fact, on our Thursdays international prayer, we just channel what the Holy Spirit is saying, and many times the things that are being revealed are happening sometimes in real time at that moment, or several hours later we'll see it come out in the news nationally or internationally, or it could be like weeks or months later we see the fulfillment of those things that are spoken, and the things that have been legislated from the heavens into the earth. And so I've been doing this for a number of years. And the way it got started with me, I'm going to just share this before I get into this message today of what God showed me about the war in Ukraine with Russia, and about it is going to expand. All right. And that's not really a good thing, I don't think. And so, but many years ago, when I was about 19 years old, um, I was praying, and I was a new Christian, and I was praying in my room. And as I was praying there, literally sitting on the floor, the angel of the Lord came to me and stood on my left side. The presence from him was so strong, I couldn't really look up to see him. All I could see was this garment that it appeared as like really thick, tight material. That's the only way I can describe it. It was not a gleaming white or anything like that. It was like an off-colored white, maybe, or beige, like that. And from my perspective, and I wanted to look up to see him, but this force was coming so strong I could not turn my head. So I could only see parts of him. And at that point, he began to speak to me about things that was going to be happening around the world. And those of you that have known me for years know that we posted this in our newsletters that we used to send out. This was before internet was really popularized and stuff. We would do the hard copy at the beginning of the year and share what was going to be happening in different countries. Then after that, we began to post it on the internet at Age to Age Ministries International, atam.org. And every year, the beginning of the year, I would have these encounters. And it got to the point where it was no longer just the one angel that would come to me and tell me what was going to be happening. But as I was led to pray for the nations of the world, the angel from that nation would come and he would speak to me. And sometimes, even when I was not praying for a specific country, and these angels would come to me and I would know where they were from. How would I know? It was so amazing, these experiences, and I still have them today from time to time, these experiences that when the angel would come on his his satchel would be written the name of the country that he represented, that he stood for. For example, if it was Nigeria, Angola, China, Russia, or whatever, the name would be written across his front, across his satchel. And I have seen it also around the waist. And so I would know where this angel is from, and I would begin to engage with this angel as he would speak to me about things that were going to be happening in that country and things that I was to pray about and to tell others so that they could also pray about. And those of you that have followed our ministry for the last few decades or so, you know that we posted these things on the website. We used to write them out, and we still do this every year. And that's one of the ways how the Spirit reveals prophetic things to me regarding what is going on in the world situation. But just to get back to what we're talking about today, early January, when I did our prophecies for the year, as we normally do, I did a live class on Zoom with our Rising Mystic Institute, and we posted it also on YouTube around, let's see, January 3rd or somewhere around there. It would say like the prophecies, for year 2022, and there was a message I also gave. So it's kind of a lengthy video. And but one of the things that I posted that I had been saying since last year, that this year, 2022, that Russia would invade Ukraine. Now, when I saw this in the early part of the year, I was really hoping, and I felt that it was in Putin's heart, that it would be not a long drawn out war, that he was going to go in and basically take back territory that he felt belonged to Russia, and that it would not be a long drawn out war. But this is what the Spirit began to say to me and stuff. Despite what he intended to do, there were other forces that were working. And I only just speak as I hear and as I see. And I realize that many of the things that I say may be controversial, and may not be the norm of what is spoken in the realm of Western Christianity, and many of the prophets that seem to parrot each other or get their information from, say, Fox News or some of the other news outlets out there. And so we're not here to parrot what is popular out there, but here to speak the word of the Lord. We're not here to basically try to appease or make anyone happy, but to speak the word of the Lord. And one of the scriptures that was given to me just recently, and as well as before, is in Isaiah, and where God is speaking through the prophet Isaiah about the leadership and about the people there. And chapter 1 and verse 4, it says, "All sinful nation of people laden with iniquity, seeds of evildoers." And he goes on to talk about this. And verse 5 says, "Why should ye be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the heart is faint." The whole head is sick and the heart is faint. From the sole of the foot even to the head, there is no soundness in it. And this is the condition of the leaders of the world today, the majority of them, I would say, this nation and basically around the world. And chapter 5 and verse 20 says this: "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." So we see that today. We see that the nations of this world are ruled by mentally ill people. The whole head is sick. The leaders are sick. Their minds have been taken over by other forces, even extra dimensional forces. You can call them demons, if you will. Okay. And we see that there are people that are just off. And whole groups of people are off. And we see that it's a time where good is called evil and evil is called good. We're living in a time where there are serial liars. And unfortunately, the masses of humanity want to hear that and will accept that and will receive that, And it's just kind of crazy when you stand back and look at it. But as I was in meditation on Monday, and Spirit began to speak to me about the war and the expansion of the war that was going to take place, I was a little bit taken aback. Now, from the beginning of the year, we have been warning, and it is documented. It is in our live sessions and also in several of the videos on YouTube in July, I believe also, and in May, that we posted using astrology, seeing what the heavens were saying, because God uses all different types of forms to communicate with us. And we begin to speak. I began to speak about a nuclear bomb. I began to warn our people at Rising Mystics. I said, pray, because you're going to hear this coming up. We even posted it on Telegram in our private group. And so just shortly after, there was all of this talk about Russia using a tactical nuclear weapon against Ukraine. But here is what the Spirit told me, and this is going to be different from what you will hear in the media and probably what you will hear amongst many religious leaders. But what Spirit told me at the early part of the year and also in the middle part of the year, that it will not be Russia that use some type of radioactive device or nuclear weapon. It will not be Russia that do this, okay? But Russia will be blamed for it. And I want to really reiterate that, because there is something happening in the world that's very important, that's going to lead to some major consequences if we don't pray, if the people of God don't pray, and if we're not aware of what is going on. Then again, around May and June, I mentioned this. And matter of fact, God told us, the Spirit told us, that there was a plan that was to release a tactical weapon or to blow up a nuclear reactor around summer. So we targeted that and we began to pray about that. Sure enough, in the news, it came out that there was shelling, Russian shelling around a nuclear reactor. And there was all of this concern for that. So my point here is this, that the powers that are operating within Ukraine and in other nations are about to create a false flag event. They're about to create a false flag event. And so this will not be done by Russia. I can tell you that by Spirit, just as we spoke into the 9/11 event 8 months before it happened. 8 months before it happened, I had a vision. I was in San Diego on a platform speaking, and I take that back. I wrote about it 8 months before it happened. And then about 4 months before it happened, I was in a vision in San Diego speaking, and I saw it happen and saw who was really involved. And we posted it on the internet at that time. Now, so this thing that is about to happen, it's going to set off a lot of problems throughout Europe and the world. And we really need to be praying, because you hear all this rhetoric and Russia speaking of, threatening all of this. But let me show you the plan of the enemy, if you will. Now, this has been a bait to draw Russia in, a bait to draw Russia in. And I'm going to just show you this here for a second. And as I am saying, I am only just sharing with you just some things that I see, and that what Spirit is basically saying to me, and what I feel is happening in the world, okay, today. And I'm going to just show you here just NATO. And this is one of the provocations, the provocation. Think of that word. Okay, these are the NATO nations that basically are there. Most of them are US, and Canada also is not a part of this map here. But these are like many of the NATO nations, and this is Russia, this is Ukraine, this is Belarus. I want you to think on Belarus because it's going to become very important, I feel, over the next few months. Belarus is going to be in the news, okay? And so now we see that, and we understand the provocation that Russia feels justified in going in and doing what they are doing there, and basically taking land that they feel is theirs, and other things that's going on there. Okay, we're not here to say what is actually right or wrong with that, with the politics of that. But there was a provocation, and that provocation was to draw Russia into this war arena with Ukraine. And because they want to expand this. Remember in the first part of this video, I said that the plan of Putin, which Spirit was showing us, was to basically thinking to go in and, take the eastern part of Ukraine, where a lot of Russian speaking people are, and basically annex that. And it was going to be like an in and out easy job. But they didn't expect what is happening now and for what is going on. And so now they're in a situation where Spirit was showing and stuff where they're going to be drawn further into the war. And I'm going to say this, I feel that between November and January, because remember I said that the summer there was the plan by evil people to set off a nuclear tactical weapon in Ukraine, but to blame it on Russia. It was not going to be Russia that did that. But Russia would be blamed for it, for further pretext to expand the war. That's what it's about, expanding this war. Now, so they could not pull that off. And so now they have projected their dates and their time. And December is being highlighted in my spirit. December is being highlighted. But I know for sure between November and January, there is a plan to set off some type of device, whether it is a dirty bomb, as they call it. Let me just read to you the definition of a dirty bomb. A dirty bomb or radiological dispersion device is a bomb that combines conventional explosives such as dynamite with radioactive material in the solid, liquid, or gaseous form. A dirty bomb is intended to disperse radioactive material into a specific area. So this is where they're going, and you're hearing this in the news already. You're going to hear it more. And so most likely, this is what's going to happen between this time here. Now, not only do I feel this because of what I felt Spirit said to me, but also the heavens are declaring, according to Psalms 19, the heavens are prophesying. Mars has gone retrograde, and it's coming closer to the earth, and will continue to be in a retrograde motion until around January the 12th. And so they have a space because the powers that be understand the movements of the heavens, and they work with this energy in a very negative way to further enslave humanity and to create havoc. Okay. And unfortunately, most of the people of God don't know anything about this and how to align ourselves with what is happening in the heavens to counter this. And so this is what is happening. So there's a plan for that to take place, and is going to be most likely between these 3 months. November, we're already in November now, but December is really highlighted in the spirit. And this is basically done by Ukraine. Now, I just want you to think about this. You have seen President Zelensky on TV more than any other world leader regarding a war. What is with that? Why is that? Why is that? And I thought about, what about the Palestinian Authority? What about other places that are being invaded, occupied, oppressed? And you don't see the media or the TV time, airtime given to these people. So something should let you know that there is something strange going on there. And so he is a plan. He was put in by certain people and stuff, and they are drumming up this situation where NATO will soon be involved with this. And I'm going to show you this other map here just to show you what I feel is going to happen here. Let me just see if I can pull this up. And okay, here we go. So here is Russia, here is Ukraine. You see this region down here, all of this region now is being occupied and controlled mostly by Russia, okay? When they set off this dirty bomb, or they blow up some type of radioactive material or reactor or something, there's going to be tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands of people, that will be affected and destroyed by it. Did you hear what I said? This is coming up really soon, really soon. And so Spirit was really just revealing quite a bit on Monday. One of the reasons why I'm doing this video, to create awareness and pray for this region. I am familiar with the area. You see this area here, Rostov-na-Don. I used to travel there every year, a couple of times a year sometime, and minister from there into the south of Russia, as well as up into Ukraine, up into Siberia. We've been into Ukraine before also. So I'm familiar with the region here and many of the people here from back in the early 2000s and late 1990s, when I was ministering throughout this area. And so the people here are very dear to my heart, as well as the Russian people, Slavic people, because of the time that I've spent in those communities. And so unfortunately, the leader there has agreed with, I'm going to just say it, some Zionist type people that have nefarious intent for the people of Ukraine. And unfortunately, they are willing to destroy a lot of their own people, blame it on Russia, to bring an international attention and to try to provoke the U.S. into war. And this is what I see is going to happen. When this dirty bomb or nuclear device is released, and the wind blows it, and it affects a lot of people in the region here, possibly tens of thousands would die, and then others would be affected by it for generations to come. NATO is going to somehow come in, and Belarus is going to be very is gonna somehow play a role. And it could be an attack that they will launch in this area here, and in defense of Ukraine, which was actually not done by Russia, but people inside Ukraine with the help of the USA and with the help of Israel. Those are the bad characters that will be acting in this. And of course, Great Britain is a part of that too. But those are the main bad characters that will be operating in this. And one of the purposes is to draw out the USA, America, into attack against Russia, to widen this war and for it to expand and to progress it into what could be called World War III. Okay, but it won't happen. I don't see it happening exactly as the way that they're planning. However, I feel that a device of some kind will be released, and a lot of people will be affected by it. And I feel that unless there is divine intervention, there will be some NATO attack. And I have been saying from the early part of the year, possibly 2 other countries in NATO, NATO nations, is going to somehow get involved with this. But there will be some type of an attack in this region of Belarus here. I don't see a direct attack from the U.S. At this time, but the very critical time for this that God is showing me is between November and January, that these things are being planned in secret. And so we're revealing the secrets of the enemy. We're telling you who's involved with these plans and what they intend on doing. But I believe that the prayers of the righteous can soften the impact of the plans that will affect many Ukrainian people. And many of these people are believers. Many of these are Christians, spirit-filled. I've been throughout this region before ministering. People that really pray and seek God, and that their own government, because he is controlled by willingly a certain people group within the country and outside the country, that he is going to put his people at risk while he is in a safe place in a bunker or in another country, okay, pretending to yet be in Ukraine. Did you hear what I said? Okay, while he is in a safe place in a bunker, or most likely in a different country, pretending to be yet in Ukraine. All right, so that's basically what I wanted to share with you all today. And I'm going to just try to keep these a little bit short, and but pray about this, because this is very serious, and they're wanting to draw world attention and sympathy for the sake of having a pretext to attack Russia and to further increase and expand this war. In our next video, we'll be talking about some other things that we see that will possibly be happening with Russia, the leadership, and other parts of the world in 2023. And I know we're doing this early, but Spirit is basically moving, and we are praying and seeking the face of God for peace, and that divine intervention take place. So I'm going to leave you with these thoughts here and bless you in the name of the Most High God. Pray for your world, pray for the nations of this world. And we just believe that God will continue to just move on our behalf and protect many people, innocent people.